The next adventure for Batman begins in Detective Comics number 33, with a cover date of November 1939, with the title, Batman Wars Against the Dirigible Doom. We start out with the origin story of our hero Batman, as his parents are gunned down in Crime Alley in a robbery after seeing a movie. The tragedy leaves young Bruce with vengeance in his heart, and he swears to the spirits of his dead parents to wage war on New York City's criminals. Over the years, he trains his mind and body to become an elite crime fighter. All he needed was a disguise. Inspiration comes in the form of a bat. Walking the streets of Manhattan, Bruce notices a very excited boy pointing at a craft in the sky. Suddenly, red beams shoot out to the surface below, obliterating buildings and sending the citizens into a panic. A voice emanates from the craft, a warning of planetary takeover from the ones who call themselves the Scarlet Horde. Making his way to his laboratory, Bruce is reminded of a Professor Kruger, who was recently released from an insane asylum and is now working on some sort of death ray, and he could be responsible for this. Batman suits up, hits the Almost-mobile, and goes to pay the good doctor a visit. Batman arrives to the doctor's house and notices a light on in one of the rooms. Using the bat line, he makes his way up. Overhearing the plans of the Scarlet Horde to mobilize their army and take over the world, we are introduced to the insane Karl Kruger, a doctor with a Napoleon complex. After the three scientists leave, Kruger muses to himself that he will soon be master of the world and that no one can stop him. Just then, the Batman enters the room to refute that claim. Facing Kruger, Batman whips his batarang towards him, but it stops in midair. Kruger is protected by a thick sheet of glass. The painting behind Batman opens. He is knocked out and bound. Kruger laughs maniacally as he makes his escape, telling Batman that the building will explode in 5 minutes. Working quickly, Batman frees himself from his bindings and narrowly escapes death as the building explodes. In the Almost-mobile, Batman reflects on his brush with death and figures the next course of action is to take down the Scarlet Horde's lieutenants. He starts with a man named Ryder and shakes him down with a warning for Kruger that he is very much alive and coming for all of them. Scared, Ryder makes his way to their hideout to tell the others. Lying in wait, the Batman is relieved that he took the bait and trails him from above in the Batplane. He arrives at the hideout but must remain unseen. Batman uses a black smoke bomb to hide the plane in. The two guard morons thinks it looks like a rain cloud. Batman lowers himself into the hangar. One of the lieutenants, Bixley, gives orders to mount the death rays onto the trucks when suddenly gas fills the room, knocking out the three men. Batman jumps in and readies his gun. He fires, setting off a chain reaction, destroying all the death rays in that lab. Now for the Zeppelin. Batman lifts an axe and is about to start destroying the Zeppelin when Kruger gets the drop on him, firing his gun. The Batman is hit. Kruger has one of his guards stand watch over Batman as he goes to get one of the death rays from the Zeppelin. He returns and destroys the Batman. Sometime later, a figure appears and is seen climbing the ladder to the Batplane. It's our hero, but how? Bruce patches up the wrong side of his chest as he explains how he overpowered the guard and took his place, and how it was the guard who had died by the death ray and not he, bringing the bat kill count up to 6. Batman works on a new chemical in his lab all night and sprays it all over the Batplane. The next day, in downtown New York City, the Scarlet Horde looks to make good on their promise. The citizens scatter, fearing for their lives, when suddenly the Batplane appears out of thin air. The Zeppelin fires the death ray at the Batplane, but it is unharmed thanks to the anti-death ray spray. A small plane launches from the bottom of the Zeppelin. Seeing it as his only option, Batman flies the plane right through the Zeppelin, destroying it, saving the people below. Batman jumps and opens his parachute to safety. Kruger sees the figure in the distance and turns the plane around to check. Surely it cannot be the Batman. Batman lassos the wheel of the plane and climbs to the wing to get Kruger, who is pointing a gun right at him. Batman makes his move, dodges the bullet, snapping his choking gas pellet, knocking Kruger out, sending the plane into a death spin to the water below. The next morning, the news reports that the dead body of Kruger was pulled out of the river, but no signs of the Batman were there. But the police had enough evidence to take down the whole Scarlet Horde, bringing the bat kill count up to 7. This concludes this week's adventure. Next adventure for Batman is Detective Comics number 34, December 1939, Peril in Paris.